Yo, guys, say what's up? It's your boy Kenneth here. I'm gonna do a WrestleMania 35 review. I told you guys I was gonna do this. It's been about 3 days since I moved into my new place and kind of get a little settled, not fully settled in just yet, but um, moved into my new place. I did get to see WrestleMania. I got to see G1 Supercard, and also got to see NXT Takeover in Brooklyn as well that Friday. So got to see a lot of wrestling. I will get to the G1 and NXT later this week. Excuse me. But for now, I'm going to talk about WrestleMania. WrestleMania 35. Coming out of this, I would say this was probably a WrestleMania with the most satisfying results I've ever seen. And I wouldn't even say just for a WrestleMania, but I would even say for a pay per view um, from WWE. Most of the results coming out of the show was satisfying, and I'm shocked. I'm just saying to myself, like, who put Vince McMahon and who tied him up, to a ball and chain and locked him in the basement, while WrestleMania was airing. That's the one positive thing I can see out of WrestleMania. In summary, the negative, the pay per view was too damn long. This pay per view was too damn long, and it really hurt. I don't want to say the quality of the show, but it kind of hurt some of the excitement for a lot of the big marquee matches because you can tell with the fans, they just by the time they after the KOFI match, Kingston match, they were done. Like they were burned out. But before I get into the Kingston match, I'm gonna excuse me, talk about WrestleMania, all the other matches in particular. I will not talk about the pre-show because to me that's worthless. Excuse me. But I'll talk about the main card. So the first match was the match opened up with Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Universal Championship. I was really shocked at that this opened the card. And when Rollins came out, Rollins was kind of buckling his knee a little bit. So my first thing was like, shit, is Rollins injured? Is he kind of hurt? And they kind of they put this match on first to do make it quick, make it a in and out thing, get in, get out. And that's exactly what they did. I'm looking at a list here. This match, when it was all said and done, was 2 minutes and 30 seconds long. And despite the placement on the card, this match, them being in and not being quick with it, is exactly what it needed to be. And the reason being is because I said in my prediction videos or whatever, was that out of all the matches on the card, this was the one match to me that felt second to third tier. It didn't feel as special or as high end as some of the other matches as it should have been. Partly due to, Brock not really being there and Seth kind of really has nothing to go off on. And then the other part too is, they kind of sidetracked Seth Rollins' goal for a minute to promote the Shield one last time. And once the Shield thing was over and done with, and they're like, okay, let's go back to, you Royal Rumble winner, title match, WrestleMania. So the bill for this match, I felt was kind of, it was sloppy from WWE's part. Excuse me, sorry guys. Recovering from an upper respiratory infection. So I'm going to be coughing a little bit here and there. Excuse me. But anyway, so yeah, I feel like this match is a reflection to the build of this event, of this feud. But needless to say, Rollins did some dirty tactics, gave Brock Lesnar a low blow, hit him with 3 curb stomps, got the pin, got the win, got out. Right guy won. So Glad Ross is champion again. Glad we have a full-time champion. So that'll be cool there. The next match we had was AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. This is one of the key matches I was looking forward to. I thought these guys put on a excellent show. I thought that I would have thought Randy would have won this match. I was shocked that AJ won it, but I'm not going to complain either. This is what the third out of 4 WrestleMania Styles has been in that he's won. I mean, I can't really say much about this. I mean, AJ won. They could continue this feud. I wouldn't think it's a one and done at WrestleMania. They could continue it, or they could probably just scrap it all together because next week is the shakeup. But AJ wins. Next match we had was the Fatal 4-Way for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. We had the Usos defending the titles against Aleister Black and Ricochet, Rusev, Nakamura, and The Bar. This was actually a pretty fun match. I enjoyed it for what it was. I didn't see the Usos losing at all. I think it would have been, I think it was a missed opportunity not to do Usos Hardys, and Hardys ended up being relegated to the Battle Royal, which to me was just stupid. Even if they were going to do a Fatal 4-Way, I think the Hardys should have been a part of that. Because Rusev and Nakamura being a tag team makes no sense to me whatsoever. Excuse me. So, right team won. We'll see where they go from here. Hopefully, by the next pay-per-view, we get that Hardys-Uso feud, because I'd like to see that. I think that's money on the table. Next we had was the Falls Count Anywhere. Shane McMahon versus The Miz. This was one of the few matches I personally wasn't that much invested into or cared about. But they actually put on a pretty good showcasing. They fought all around the arena. It kind of reminded me a little bit of, like, just off memory, the last time I can remember we had like a street fight or whatever, where we went all everywhere in the arena, almost everywhere in the arena, in the crowd at a WrestleMania, was the street fight between Undertaker and Triple H at WrestleMania 17. That WWE, for some whatever reason, likes to downplay or forgets that match even existed. It kind of reminded me of that. We get to one huge spot towards the end of the match where The Miz does a suplex, lifting back Shane McMahon. They both fall through a platform. Shane was on top of Miz. They're both knocked out. The ref counted. Shane wins. So at least that's something different there, because Shane's been losing all his matches at WrestleMania. Definitely an indicator that this match will continue beyond WrestleMania. Excuse me. I don't want to see it continue, but I mean, it is what it is. Next, we have the Fatal 4-Way for the SmackDown, not SmackDown, but the Tag Team Women's Championship. I said in my preview before, didn't care about this match going into it. Didn't care for it when it was going on. Was kind of surprised by the results, as the Iconics are the new Women's Tag Team Champion. And the way they won it was pretty slick. I liked the booking, the ending for that. Now we get on to some of the best parts of WrestleMania. The next match that followed up with this, Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. This is, in my mind, probably the second most heavy invested storyline besides the women's triple threat. Everybody was into this at WrestleMania. You could feel the energy for Kingston and Daniel Bryan in this match. They put on a good match. They did. I might say, I don't know. I think the match that they had at Elimination Chamber might have been a little bit better in terms of like some of the false finishes and whatnot. But this was still an excellent match. It still got you invested. And Despite everything, WWE pulled the fucking trigger. I was shook. I was shocked. This was the WrestleMania moment. To me, this trumps coming out of WrestleMania. This highlights and trumps what Becky accomplished in the main event, in my opinion. This was a WrestleMania moment. Kofi Kingston beat Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. Holy shit. Everyone in that arena were excited, were elated. There was even video of Shad from Crime Time, if anyone remembers, going back, and MVP. There was a video on them. They're like at a bar somewhere. They're watching this match in particular at a bar. They see Kingston win, and there's tears coming down their faces. MVP is like there's an emotional expression on his face. Shad, it looks like he's choked up. He gets teary eyed. This was a big deal. I'm sorry for anyone who thinks, well, world champion. I mean, Mark Henry and Booker T, like, what's the point? We've never had a black WWE champion. And it's funny for a lot of people who've been arguing this thing for the last couple of months. This case has been getting this push. People argue, or there have been world champions. It shouldn't matter. At the end of the day, the WWE Championship, that is the most prestigious prize. I don't care if it's on the B show and how WWE may try to elevate another title above it or make it seem like it's on par. Real fans know of WWE, out of every championship belt that comes and goes throughout that company's history, the WWE title is the holy grail. That is the title for 35, 50 years since WWE's inception. And this is the first black champion we've had. This is history making for WWE. Whether you like to admit it or not, this was history making for WWE. Yes, we have Rock, but WWE and The Rock himself only associate his Samoan heritage. I mean, that's just how it is. They're promoting his Samoan heritage. So because of that, we've never really felt the need to, will we have a black WWE champion? Like, yeah, we've had world champions, Mark Henry, Booker T, Ron Simmons from WCW back in the 80s, or I think it was early 90s. He was WCW champion. Excuse me. Point is, they pulled the trigger. They made the right move. That was a WrestleMania moment. And a lot of people within the wrestling industry who are African American and even African American fans, I've seen the reactions online, 24 hours removed from WrestleMania. People said they stopped watching wrestling like 4 or 5 years ago. They got back into wrestling because of this storyline, because of this feud. And these are not African American people, by the way. These are not African American people. And some are not even minorities at all, saying that this is the storyline that got them in, that's getting them to watch WWE again, because this is something different, because they haven't seen this before. And WWE knows that we've never had a black champion before because they played it in and out in the storyline. That's how they didn't verbally say it, but if you're smart enough, they're playing it out like, oh yeah, we've never had a black champion, WWE champion before. They played that out in storyline. It was awesome. To me, I think this is where the crowd themselves reached their peak for the show. Because after that, the show, we've had some good stuff coming after the show, but the crowd just kind of dips a little bit in terms of their enthusiasm for WrestleMania. So Kingston wins the WWE Championship. They roll out the merchandise. All I have to say now moving forward, please change, tweak the New Day gimmick. them coming out of Raw last night, the Lucky Charms and pancake stuff, it's like, I don't want to complain. I'm not complaining, but it's a small critique that I have. It's just like, I kind of want New Day to be a little bit more serious. Just a little bit more serious, tone down on the Lucky Charm, colors and whatnot, and they'd be perfect. Right now, though, Kingston's got the belt. I don't know how long he's going to run with it, but I mean, history's been made. Hopefully, WWE can, shine a light and give other African American wrestlers who are good. I'm not just saying just give it to them because they're black, but who are good and have a following, and put the strap on them. After that, the next match we had was Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio. This match lasted 1 minute. Joe choked him out, retained the U.S. title. Nothing to really go any further about, other than excuse me, Samoa Joe finally got a WrestleMania moment or match. Next match after that, we had a Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. I actually enjoyed this match. This match is what I thought it would be, and that's just a brawl. McIntyre was annihilating Roman Reigns, beating the holy hell out of him. Didn't take much for Roman Reigns to get an offense. He hit him with like a Superman punch and a spear, and like that was it. Some of these matches felt kind of rushed because it seemed like they wanted to give more time to some of the bigger marquee matches. So some of it did feel kind of rushed. This match was like 10 minutes or close to it. But it is what it is. We don't know. I don't know if they're going to pursue this match or move forward with it, as neither of them showed up on Raw last night. So we don't know where that story goes. The next match that came after this, Triple H versus Batista in a no holds barred match. This was a fun match. I think this was a match that a lot of people probably sleep on a little bit, maybe. I don't know. There were a couple of spots that they did in this match that were kind of reminiscent to some of their previous matches. In particular, there was the one spot where Triple H had the sledgehammer. He's about to hit Batista in the head with it, but Batista drops him with the Batista bomb, mirroring that exact same spot when they fought at Hell in a Cell, 12, 15 years ago. Batista won that match in that same fashion. And so it was cool to kind of see them mirror that exact same spot, but Batista didn't get the victory. Triple H taking pliers and pulling the nose ring out of Batista's face. Batista looked great, by the way, I have to say. He wasn't as big and bulky, looking like a brick house like he normally does, but physically he still looked really good. It's like he slimmed down. He slimmed down, but he was still a big muscular dude. It looked good. Triple H hit him with the sledgehammer to the face, got him for the second pedigree, got the win. Triple H gets his W on Batista, and later that night we find out that Batista put on Twitter, which we kind of all expected anyway, but he made it official that he is retiring from wrestling. And it's like, man, that kind of to see him work so hard over the last couple of years to try to get this one match, and now that we finally got it, it's like, all right, guys, I'm done. I'm riding off into the sunset. It's like, man, it kind of sucks, because I would have loved to see Batista have another run with the company. And in hindsight, looking back at it now that he's finally retired, I feel like Batista could have had a little bit more. I think him having a feud with Brock Lesnar, him having a feud with Roman Reigns, maybe even a Drew McIntyre. There's some people I would have liked to see Batista mix it up with in the ring. But he retired. He's riding off into the sunset. That's all I got to say about that. So the next match we had was Kurt Angle's final match ever as he was retiring versus Baron Corbin. I know a lot of people were speculating that he would have the match might have been changed or whatnot. Nope, didn't happen. I thought Kurt Angle looked good in this match. It was 6 minutes, which is right what it needed to be. 6 minutes long, but I can tell Kurt Angle was putting his best foot forward here versus like the multiple matches on SmackDown and Raw leading up to this that he was having with random people, superstars. So, um, uh, Baron Corbin got the pan, got the W. I really don't get what's the purpose. I mean, I get Baron Corbin. At this point, he's probably one of the top heels because fans don't like him. He doesn't really have X Pac heat, but he does have heat with fans. He gets heat from fans. He does get a heel reaction, and I think I commend WWE for at least sticking with that to that regard. But this is a match I don't think Baron Corbin really should have won, in my opinion. I think Kurt Angle should have got the victory on this one. And rode off into the sunset. And then come out of what happened last night on Raw. He's coming out and he's beating up Baron Corbin after Baron Corbin's bragging about how he retired Angle. And then you have Lars Sullivan come out making his debut. I don't know, man. But that match was what it needed to be. Next match, we had Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley for the Intercontinental Championship. Demon Finn Balor, I should say. It's always great seeing Lashley. I liked his ring gear. Lashley looked like a beast coming out of WrestleMania. Didn't agree with the whole yellow eye contact things. He looked weird, but he looked impressive. Demon Balor came out. We all know Demon Balor never loses. Got the victory. Won back the Intercontinental Championship. So that's that. I did forget to mention one thing. There was a spot we had with Elias earlier in the night. Elias was doing a performance piece, and we got Thugonomics, John Cena, which was pretty cool. We heard John Cena was going to be back, but we didn't know to what capacity. John Cena came out full Thugonomics gear and was spitting some bars, and John Cena was good. Like, he still had it. And it was funny because seeing him in that getup, I was watching Mania with my friends, and I was like, John Cena looks the exact same now as he did like 15 years ago when he first did the rapper gimmick. It was funny to me. But a cool spot nonetheless. I don't know if this means John Cena is going to come, when he does come back and have a match with someone or whomever, if he will come back as Thugonomics, but we'll see. Lastly, we have the main event. Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair in a winner-take-all match for both SmackDown and Raw women's titles. This match was fun. The crowd were... I kind of wanted to watch this match a second time before I did this, but due to my time constraint and schedule, that wasn't permitted. But I do want to say that I think that the crowd was into it, but not as much as you would have thought. And I really think it has nothing to do with the performers. I just really think it has to do with the longevity of WrestleMania that really kind of killed some of the energy for a lot of the fans in that arena. This match was great. It was back and forth. There's a lot of cool spots, whatnot. Ronda looked great. Charlotte looked great. Becky looked great. And then we get to the finish where Ronda tries to do like this, I don't know what she calls it, the pipe or something. Almost like a Samoan drop, and she like swings and drops you. She attempts that move, but Becky reverses and gets her into like a backslide type of pin maneuver. Excuse me. Gets her into a backslide, and the match just ended. And if I remember correctly, when they were panning the camera to some people's facial expressions, some people were just like, Not shocked that Becky won, but just kind of shocked, like, wait, that's it? Because the finish was kind of abrupt. Um, Sean from Fightful.com said that it felt flat, and I totally agree. Like, it felt flat. You go back and you look at the one angle um, where they show it to the left of Becky Lynch. Ronda's right shoulder, I don't think was completely panned down to the mat at all. And it's just kind of like, oh, well, fuck, it's too late now. So, like, just go with it. Um, that's the only thing. You know, Becky won. I'm glad for her. The right person won. The right person won the match. It was a fun, entertaining match, main event. But the finish just kind of felt a little flat, a little bit. It was just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what they could have done better. I don't know what they could have done differently. But to end it the way that they ended, it wasn't like, it didn't end on controversy or scrutiny, but the finish just kind of felt flat a little bit. But like I said, Becky won, and I'm surprised at the fact that, again, going back to my predictions video 2 weeks ago, I had said Becky was gonna win, but I wasn't too sure about Kingston or Rollins winning their matches. I was like, if one of them win their respective matches, the other person's gonna lose. I am surprised, coming out to you guys talking right now in this review, that Becky Lynch, Kofi Kingston, and Seth Rollins all respectively won their matches and titles. I'm shocked. This was a WrestleMania that had the most satisfying results I've ever seen. Excuse me, that I can think of. Even AJ Styles winning, that was satisfying. Like, I didn't even expect him to win that. The only downer to WrestleMania, I would say as a whole, was the time length. The time length was first. Second, I'd say would be the Baron Corbin Kurt Angle match. I just think that was just pointless. I think Kurt deserved better, a more worthy challenger to challenge him for his final match. That's pretty much the only downside I had to this. Other than that, I thought this was a solid WrestleMania. I think it's one that we will remember for Kingston and women main eventing WrestleMania. Those are top two moments I think that we'll remember looking back years from now on WrestleMania 30. Was it 34, 35, whatever? WrestleMania 35. I think those will be the key moments we'll look back to in retrospect of this WrestleMania. All in all, good show. Got some good matches. The time constraint was just, it dragged. Excuse me. They really got to work on that. I know WrestleMania is like the big show. It's the Super Bowl of wrestling. They want to get everybody that they can in there to get their WrestleMania paycheck and the WrestleMania moment. I get that. That's cool. But it's like, damn, like something's got to change. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about WrestleMania. I saw Raw last night. Raw really wasn't that good. Well, Raw wasn't terrible last night, post-Mania Raw, but I would say for a post-Mania Raw, it was probably one of the most disappointing Raws for a post-WrestleMania Raw, and it did not live up to the expectations and hype that we've always come to expect for so many years. Wasn't the worst Raw in the world, but definitely did not earn that post-Raw, status that so many others have before. The main event, I mean, Jesus Christ. Let's talk about that. Like, why would you do a champion versus champion match and have it go out with the bar interfering, and then it's turned to a tag team match, and people are chanting AEW, and we want refund and everything else during this main event? Like, okay, for fans out there that defend the decision and say people actually think that they were gonna actually do a double title change. After Rollins and Kingston won their respective matches the night before. No, but at the same token, don't book the match either. Like, I don't know. They could have done it better. They could have done it where at least maybe like Lars Sullivan comes out and interrupts the match that he, instead of debuting with Kurt Angle, he debuts in the main event between Kingston and Rollins and interferes that way. That way you don't get a shit booking like that we had last night on Raw, and you get Lars Sullivan and kind of book him strong and make him look great and being an automatic like threat to like challenge both new world champions. My opinion. But you guys let me know what you thought about that, and you guys let me know what you think about WrestleMania. I thought it was a good show. I'm gonna hear your thoughts in the comment box below. Do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button and like, and don't forget to hit the notice as well. See you later, guys. Peace out.